Do not believe for 1 second that you can achieve mega star type success without the industry. It won't be likely in your cards.
Yo. We are ill-advised. Why?
Check out the full podcast. Link below.
Is being of the industry overrated?
Ooh, as of late, I hear a lot of people bragging about how, they don't mess with industry folks. Like NBA YoungBoy is probably the most popular person that does that and says that, but I've heard Logic say it. I've heard, people like Cole say it. And, it sounds cool, but how actually accurate, number one, is that statement when people say that? And then number two, is that actually detrimental to your growth, right? So NBA YoungBoy right now, arguably the hottest rapper in the game right now. Like, I thought it was actually pretty amazing. He just randomly dropped an album called Rich as Op. He announced it a week before it released. And it still moved about 51,000 units, which is amazing. In my head, I'm like, yo, he's definitely one of the biggest artists in the game right now. And the biggest artist in the game, one of the songs on Rich's Op is called F the Industry Part 2. And in the song, he pretty much confirms that he doesn't mess with a lot of people in the industry, including Drake.
Talked to Drake cross FaceTime, he wasn't feeling me. Told me that he fuck with Drake. Damn, that shit getting me. Told me that he like the shit I'm doing, but can't do shit with me. So,
including Lil Yachty. He actually took a shot at Cole.
He did.
And he should be applauded for being self-made, somebody who can do things solo dolo. But how big could NBA YoungBoy be if he actually was industry, quote unquote? Like, if he's this big now, do you think industry could have actually made him become a bigger artist? Because I don't want people to think everybody's going to look at the NBA YoungBoy route and say, oh, look at how NBA YoungBoy did it. I don't want to be industry either. NBA YoungBoy is a unique situation. NBA YoungBoy could very well be an outlier. At the end of the day, I'm not exactly sure that's a route most artists should take. First off, collaborations and features are as big as they've ever been. Every single album these days has 5, 10, 15 people on it. Mm-hmm. Networking, I think, has allowed artists to kind of get put in certain rooms. Like, for instance, there's a dude named Dominic Fike. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I'm very familiar. I love Dominic Fike. He's blowing up. But I just feel like Dominic Fike just started putting himself. He was kind of like NBA YoungBoy, just kind of like just doing his own thing, eclectic. But he started putting himself in rooms, right, where people get to know who he is. He started branching off, and now he's becoming an A-list musician. Okay. So there's that aspect of, the industry actually helps. Is there more pros or cons to being anti-industry?
People sure do love to act like they're independent, don't they? Like, isn't it like a badge of honor? Doesn't it come across like the people who say it, they be bragging like
Russ?
I just go into the studio and make music, and sometimes I feel like singing, sometimes I feel like rapping, but that's the beauty of being independent is I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Russ brags a lot.
Y'all took the bait. I did it on myself. I was self-made. I'm this, I'm that. And I'm not gonna lie. It sounds great. Mm-hmm. That shit sounds fire.
It does.
Yo, when Russ, when Joe Budden, when all of these people start talking, when Nipsey, all these people talking that self-made, I got it on my own, I grinded.
We didn't end up doing no deal. You know what I'm saying? I kept just decided to keep my shit independent and keep working on what we was doing. But I was more so concerned with just ownership, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Than what the look was.
It's motivational. Mm-hmm. It's what I think a lot of people need to hear. Mm-hmm. Because unfortunately, more people, whether they know it or not, they're going to have to put their self on and grind and be self-made until somebody sees an opportunity and they give it to them. So I think it's good messaging. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to act like it's not. However, I do think it's misleading. Because most people who actually achieve success, they do it through collaborations. They do it through their connections. They do it through the industry folks who have other connections who are able to provide resources and opportunities for them to leverage and be more successful. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, right? So that's why I'm like, it's good messaging from somebody like NBA YoungBoy, because your average person who's just getting it on their own, they making music in their bedroom, they need to have that motivation, that grind to be self-sufficient and realize, yo, this is what I need to do to really get myself to a certain level. But do not believe for 1 second that you can achieve a particular type of mainstream mega star type success without the industry. It won't be likely in your cards. I'm just being real.
Yeah. I mean,
like, it's just not. And so I hate to bring this up because I'm not trying to compare these dudes. I ain't perpetuating the beef. I just want to give an example. Lil Durk, I would say the polar opposite of what YoungBoy is doing in terms of how he's moving within the quote unquote industry, right? You got YoungBoy in one respect saying, F the industry, I don't rock with y'all, I'm getting it on my own, I'm self-made, I'm self-paid. And on the flip side, Lil Durk is like, hey, Cole, I need you. I want to change my narrative. I need you to create this message. This is a connection that he's leveraging. This is a orchestrated move that to me is industry, has industry written all over. Now, I'm not calling Cole industry. I'm not saying Lil Durk is this industry. None of that. I'm just saying that's the type of collaboration, the type of networking that allows you to level up. I mean, is really the point I'm making.
I mean, the thing is funny.
And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with both routes. I'm just like, there's just this push of being anti-industry is the way to go, right? But then let's think about the hottest, let's say all-time great artist. How many all-time great artists were indie? Anti-industry. How many?
There's a few.
Jay-Z wasn't.
Prince.
Eminem. No, Prince was the first. That was the name that came in my head. Prince. But Jay-Z wasn't.
But he was only, let me be very clear. Apparently Prince was only anti-industry until it became a problem with how he was profiting off of his money.
Ever since my third album, I wasn't really taking large advances from the recording companies. I was recording the albums myself in my own studio. So the way I looked at it, I owned the work because I paid for it. Companies felt otherwise, and they would always hold this contract up and say, well, you signed it. It shouldn't be a situation where they own the album or the work. We're talking about intellectual copyright. If they're going to be indeed a delivery service, then that's fine. But even FedEx doesn't say that they own the thing that they ship.
Then he changed his name, the artist formerly known as Prince, in order to collect royalties that were more suitable for him. That's a business play. You tell me. You said Jay-Z no?
I mean, Jay-Z became a boss, but Jay-Z was in the industry.
Jay-Z's super industry.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Oh yeah.
Big Puff. Eminem. Eminem was signed to somebody that was signed to somebody.
Drake.
Drake
Kanye. Kanye. Drake's
everybody.
Super industry.
So it's like being industry has actually breeded some of the greatest, most of the greatest of all time. What NBA YoungBoy is doing right now is unprecedented because he's pretty much doing things completely his own way. Which he's proven, I think the most important thing he has proven is not only can he do things his own way, but he's sustaining this type of, approach to making music. Right. Which is impressive. That's the part that impresses me. Because, Russ is doing it too, but Russ doesn't quite have that same buzz. Russ still kind of feels underground, but NBA YoungBoy doesn't feel underground. He actually feels mainstream, but he's sustaining this approach, which is pretty interesting. But, I just thought it was an interesting thing that came to my head. I hear it so much these days. I actually think there might be more cons than pros.
Well, look, I was actually going to say, I want to be very clear, man, because artists who are not actually independent purposefully give off the narrative that they are independent because it boosts the support. It's like a marketing tool.
It does.
I remember when Chance the Rapper was hot, which was, seems like ages at this point. 2017, Chance was like the man. There was a huge debate as to whether or not Chance the Rapper was truly independent or not. I remember this, because I was trying to figure it out. Every time he kept saying,
But I also don't believe in publishing deals or traditional upper management. I get to choose how much my music costs. I get to choose when my music gets released. I choose when I go on tour, who I work with, what movies I work with.
Would you ever consider signing with a record label at this point?
No.
it became very clear that saying you're not signed was a little misleading because he wasn't signed to a major label, but he did have major distribution deals that allowed him to get his music out to a different level. So it's like, but it was you playing with words. It's like semantics. You play. It's like you feeding off of the.
It's like you're not under someone.
There you go.
That's people get mistaken to not under someone with I'm not signed to a major label.
Correct.
You know? So, or I'm not.
Which I do think
I'm not industry.
But I do think
they're all industry.
There's value to that. But the point is like, yo, the industry label, bro,
Like,
it's over. It gets overstated. It's not as bad. It's not as toxic. It's not as in my opinion, it's not as
like I get.
It's not as bad as people think.
Like I get emails from NBA YoungBoy from Capitol Records. I get emails saying, yo, like NBA YoungBoy just dropped a new album. Like that to me is industry. Am I not mistaken? Am I something wrong? Like you have a marketing team, you got that, you got this, you got people backing you. Like he has support. So there's a difference. He has support from the industry. He has support from the industry.
Facts.
Now, in a perfect world, I would be like, yo, like I got industry support.
Yep.
That's what I want. I just want support from the industry. I don't want to be under somebody. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's just misleading. Yeah. I'll just say that.
I think so. I mean, we can keep it. We can keep pushing. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, do you feel like artists, they play around with these words, whether they indie, of the industry? What do y'all think?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Listen to the full episode. Link below.